sentence summary. Tess wants to get ahead in business, but the man, played by a woman, is keeping her down. Good to beat the villain. It's more of a situation than an actual villain, although Sigourney Weaver is kind of a twat. Anyway, could I pull off a business deal while passing myself off as an executive slash tycoon type, whereas I only have an admin job? Yes, I could. Eventually, Sigourney Weaver is going to find out that I've kind of stolen her life, and I am wearing her wardrobe and living in her house. And she's going to try and expose me, because she seems like a bitter person like that. Personally, I would have copied that tape where she basically admits to stealing my idea, and I'll use that as an insurance policy when, you know, she eventually turns up and starts kicking off like, you're only a secretary or whatever, how dare you run this business meeting? Prove that I stole your idea and you didn't steal mine. Okay, click. How would you improve this film? I was not a fan of the very loud music that kept playing over and over again. Kevin Spacey is in this film in one scene, and he's like a cokehead businessman type who shows adult films to young women he's supposed to be interviewing, and he's not the worst person in the film. How was that? Jesus. Alec Baldwin, his character I think possibly worked in an underwear factory, because we see him giving presents to people twice, and both times it's underwear. The first time is his girlfriend's birthday, so you can sort of see how that's appropriate. Although she does say, like, can you ever, get me something I can wear outside of the apartment? Number one, you can wear underwear everywhere. Number two, he's obviously not very good with gifts, and he's kind of a shit bloke. The second time we see him giving a gift is he's at their friend's engagement party, and like in front of everyone, they're opening the presents, and it's like, oh, here's a gift from Alec Baldwin and Tess, whatever her name is, pair of underwear. And it's like, right, okay, that's weird. In that situation, I would point out, like, by the way, he that's his gift. This has nothing to do with me. Anywho, Alec Baldwin is pissy at Tess for embarrassing him when he proposes to her a week after she found him in bed with someone else, and they are in front of all of their friends when he proposes. And then she says kind of like, oh, I'll get back to you, or maybe, and he's like, oh, you make me look like a right idiot. Nah, mate, you're in the wrong there. Sigourney Weaver apparently is not suspicious that her boyfriend, Harrison Ford, hasn't come to see her while she's been laid up in the hospital for weeks. And yeah, I feel like Harrison Ford says, oh, like, I wanted to break up with her and I was going to do it, and then she's, got in this skiing accident, so I didn't do it. So yeah, apparently he just avoided her for, as long as possible instead of not breaking up with her, which are not really the same thing. Tess's mate Cynthia has the biggest hair in the world, and I'm sure throughout the film it was just getting bigger and bigger. It was crazy. Harrison Ford doesn't wash his hands when he comes out of a bathroom stall. That's gross. And Tess and Harrison Ford gatecrash a wedding for business reasons, and the bride becomes super suspicious that she doesn't know Tess. And I get the feeling that like the boyfriend or the husband now has probably cheated on her in the past, so any random women, she's like, the fuck is this? Why is she at my wedding? There were unnecessary boobies at the end of this film for no apparent reason, and I thought it was odd because it's not like there had been boobies throughout the film. The businessman who Tess and Harrison Ford are trying to get a business deal with is called Trask, which is the same name as one of the X-Men villains who appears in, I believe, 2 of the X-Men films, played by different actors. So I don't see any reason to say that this film is not one of the X-Men films. It's just like, it was a slow day. Harrison Ford is afraid that he's going to make one mistake and he's going to get fired. And then he tries to pick up a woman, knowing full well that she's trying to meet his character, Jack Traynor, because she's all like, oh, do you know who Jack Traynor is? He's like, he just left. So he knows that she's looking for him. Anyway, he tries to get her drunk and get her into bed, and then like he's all like, oh no, I'm so afraid I'll make one mistake and I'll get fired. Stop doing that sort of stuff. And also there's a scene where he's just changing in his office He's got to know those glass, that glass panel. People can see him. So stop making all these mistakes, Harrison Ford. You've been given many chances. Anyhow, there are many thirsty ladies in this film who just really fancy Harrison Ford. Like those ladies who are watching him change when he's in his office. They're all like, oh, bloody hell, look at that. Number one, that looks like a depressed man getting changed in his office. And then when he's at that wedding, he's drinking a cocktail or whatever, and the woman next to him's like, oh, look at that. No, I don't see it. I know he was like a big star at the time, but nah. Tess walks in on Alec Baldwin cheating on her, so she leaves home and she goes to live at Sigourney Weaver's house because Sigourney Weaver's in hospital. Then Sigourney Weaver comes back. Where's Tess living after that? Because like we never see her finding her own crappy little apartment or, getting a load of clothes that are her own to wear. And at the end of the film, good news, Tess has got a new job. And she's confused when, she's not the secretary, she's like the executive type. Did she not get a job spec or anything? Because, like, if Seals Night she turned up to work without knowing what her job was, so that's not very good. Anywho, rating out of 5 beers, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst, I would give this a 4. So, yeah.